Say, welcome everybody to Occhi Magazine YouTube channel. I'm here with the beautiful and talented Amanda Robles. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Okay. I said your last name right, correct? Is that right?
Yes, you did. Yes, you
Okay. I
did.
always get paranoid about that, so I always want to make sure. So you've been with for I guess since you got out of college, kind of been doing mainly the Disney work, right? Is that correct?
Mainly Disney stuff, and then like the last I want to say like 3, 4 years, with the exception of COVID. I've been doing a lot of regional theater, a lot of new works,
Hmm.
um, off Broadway and stuff like that. So yeah,
Oh, nice, nice. Yeah, I just
yeah.
want to give the fans out there a little brief background before we get into it. Yeah, and we met. I'm trying to think. We met at Lucas's engagement party, right?
Long time ago now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, so I had less gray hairs back then, but
Yeah,
yeah, life
I was
happens.
like less children, less.
Yeah, everything, right? It's all good. It's like right.
Yeah.
That must have been 2013 or 2014, I think.
2013. I think I had just graduated college, and that's why I was in the city that day.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh man. Yeah, I
I
was checking
just
out your
graduated
website.
college.
I think maybe you might have came out to one of our gigs when we played in Philly, and I just put two and two together.
Yeah, at Chris's Jazz Cafe.
Yeah, I was like, oh, because I remember Lucas like, oh, my cousin's coming to the gig, and I was reading it like you went to University of Arts. So I was like, oh, she probably
Yeah, it
came to
was
the gig.
right down the street. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
right down the street.
Oh, nice, nice. So it's all coming back to me.
Yeah.
My old age.
Mm.
All right. So I was checking out your website. So you started in high school, right? I think at 16, auditioning for your first musical theater gig.
Yes. So that was, yeah, I was considered to be a little late in the game. I had always sang, I sang sacred music, um, and I sang classically, but I hadn't done my first musical until the end of my junior year
Hmm.
of high school, when like everyone's applying to colleges anyway.
Okay.
Um, and then that's when like my teacher, he was like, you could major in this. Like you're really good, you should major in it. And I'm like, I don't even know. This is the first musical I've ever done. It was Grease,
Oh, nice.
way back when, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, I got in. I got into, it was UArts, Pace, I think American University for musical theater, and I ended up in Philly. I'd never been to Philly, and I ended up loving it. So
Nice. And you did that with just two musicals under your belt, right?
hmm
That's pretty impressive. I mean,
I know. And then I went to college, and they were like, "When did you start? What agent do you have?" And I'm like, "I literally started last year. I don't know what agents you're talking about."
right? I hear you. I hear you. So you just kind of like, I mean, you had the background of singing and everything, but as far as like the theater thing, it seems like it kind of
Yeah,
natural for you. Then
yeah.
that's good.
I learned a lot. Learned a lot in 4 years of college.
Oh man, what made
Learned
you
a
want to
lot.
go to U of Arts as opposed to maybe some of the other schools?
Um, I think like the appeal for me was that like I I had never been to Philly. I had never like school trip or whatever. Like went to DC on a school trip. Obviously, like growing up in Connecticut, you're always like New York City's right there. Like it
Hmm.
wasn't anything new. I think the fact that it was in Philly, it was something new. It was something that I hadn't done before, and that's what appealed to me. And like also with UArts at that time, it was such a small program. Like my major only had 25 kids in it. So like our studios and our acting work, there was only 12 kids in a studio. So it was super, I was able to learn a lot in a very short amount of period of time.
Oh, okay. So it's like kind of
Yeah.
like you had that kind of real close relationship with the mentors in the program, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. And it was, it was conservatory training with like a liberal arts. We still had to take like liberal arts classes and stuff like that, which I liked. It wasn't all just a conservatory kind of
Mm,
thing, which I liked too, but that's
gotcha.
getting into, yeah, their curriculum.
Yeah, it gives your little headspace, get away from
Yeah,
school.
yeah.
Oh, nice. So we did. So you went to college, and I guess you were doing a lot of work throughout the school. But then I saw you were also already starting to do some professional work while still in college, right?
Yeah, so my junior, when was it? The end of my junior year.
Hmm.
Was it my junior year into my senior year? I had worked with the composers Kerrigan and Lowdermilk. They're big musical theater performers, composers, excuse me, and they were writing a new musical for PIFA, which is the Philadelphia International Festival of the Arts,
Okay.
and I was actually in one of their new musicals for PIFA, and that's when I started um, really working professionally and working on new things. That like my love of doing new musicals and new music was really cultivated, I think, with that show. Um, but yeah, so then I worked with them, and then I worked at oh, I don't even know if it's there anymore. It was the Ritz Theater in Haddingfield, New Jersey.
Okay. I think I've
We
heard of it.
did
Yeah.
a Yeah,
Yeah.
we did a production of Legally Blonde that like I loved.
Oh yeah. I
That
remember
was
seeing that
fun.
movie in
Yeah.
theaters.
They made it a musical, and the musical is actually amazing.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
nice,
But
nice.
that one was really fun. Those are my first two like professional gigs that I was still in school for. And I
Hmm.
had to figure out how to finagle it without losing credit.
I hear that. Well, what
Yeah.
character did you play in the Legally Blonde?
Legally Blonde, I was Pilar.
Uh huh.
I played like one of her like three best friends that end up like coming into like it's like her voice of reason throughout the musical, like kind
Okay.
of like a Greek chorus and like Shakespeare and whatever.
Uh huh.
But no, yeah, it was super fun, super contemporary. It was a fun time. But yeah.
Oh, nice, nice. Yeah, the Ritz.
Yeah.
I think I've heard of that theater. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's there anymore. Hopefully it is, but yeah, it was really funny. It was a really fun time.
Uh huh. Oh man, and then so you did that production, and that was at the Kimmel Center, right? Um,
A Flash of Time with Kerrigan and Loudermilk, that was at the Kimmel Center, yeah. Which
oh, that
was amazing too. I had
yeah.
never like here I am. I think I was 19
Hmm.
and like I was already performing at the Kimmel Center, which was like I thought was like a huge deal.
Oh no, it definitely was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the home of the Philadelphia Orchestra too. So
Mhm.
yeah, so
No,
that's
yeah.
amazing. So was it that association with that project that kind of sprung forward with the Disney work, or is it like something outside that happened?
I'll tell you, like, when I auditioned for Disney the very first time, I didn't know what I was auditioning for at
Oh,
all.
okay.
Don't do this. I was like, anyone listening to this, do not do this.
Right.
But I didn't know what it was for. My roommate, my college roommate, she was like, "Can you go to this audition with me?
Mhm.
I'm just really scared to go by myself." It was in New York. We took the Bolt bus.
Oh
Bolt
wow.
bus and Megabus. That was like, yeah, that was like our ticket out of Philly was Bolt bus or Megabus. We took a Megabus at like 4 in the morning.
Uh huh.
Um, we're in New York City by 6. We had the audition was at Pearl Studios,
Hmm.
and I still like I didn't know what we were auditioning for. Like I just made the line with a bunch of girls, made the line, and then it was not until we went into the room, like the holding room at like 8 in the morning. So we already been up for like 4 hours.
Uh huh.
that they were like, oh, there's an audition for Disney Cruise Line. Please sing 16 bars of a contemporary musical theater song. And I was just like, okay. I sang Edge of Glory by Lady Gaga. Clearly didn't, again, do not do this, but clearly did not follow the brief. And they told me in the room, they're like, you sound great, but you're just way too tall to be a princess.
Oh, really? Okay.
And yeah. And I was like, okay, whatever. And I went to go like unhinge the door. And he was like, wait a minute. We have Maleficent. And I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. Like, a job's a job. And then a month later, I got a call, saying, when can I leave? So and that was that. But it was cool. It was my first real professional job right after I graduated college. So
yeah, that's quite a job to land too. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. No, it was really fun. Really fun time.
I like the way you tell those. Like, yeah, I woke up at 4 and I went down for the audition and I just sang what I wanted.
Yeah, but do not listen to me. Children of the world, do not listen to me. Follow the brief. Wake up early. Make sure you're warmed up, please.
Oh man, that's amazing. I mean, you got the gig in it. So it was Maleficent that started the touring for you then.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and then so then it ended up being a good like 3 years with Disney that I ended up doing, and I ended up doing a lot of cool stuff for them, and like ended up creating a lot of new works with them too. Like we opened a Turner Warner Classic Movies. Always had a special cruise for TCM like fans, and we actually opened for what's his name? The host, last name is Osborne. I don't know, but he's a big TCM guy. Okay. Last name Osborne. We'll look it up.
Okay.
But we ended up creating a little intro for him that they actually kept on the ship for Christmas time and stuff like that. So ended up like being the original cast for them. I was also the original cast for Elena's Royal Welcome, to welcome Elena of Avalor into the Disney World parks. So I ended up doing a lot of new stuff with them too that, just ended up happening. Yeah.
So the cruise, what places did the cruise take you? Because I think that'd be a kind of an exciting gig right out of college.
Yeah. Yeah, it was fun. We ended up going, we stopped it was out of Port Canaveral. We stopped at Jamaica, St. Martin. We did Miami, Cancun, the Bahamas a lot. We were in Nassau a lot. And then we did a transatlantic cruise that went to Madeira, Portugal, Madrid, Spain, and Barcelona. So nice. That was fun, yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. And that cruise, that was 3 years. Is it just the cruise that was 3 years, or was like the total work? As far as
the total work. So cruise ship gigs range from anywhere from like 6 months to 11 months. So Disney's contracts are 8 months. So it was 8 months, 2 months of rehearsal in Toronto, Canada. So got to travel there too.
Nice.
And then from there you go to the ship.
Oh, okay.
And yeah.
And then you did the parks as well, or was the parks after?
And I did, the parks were after the ships. I was at Magic Kingdom. I was at the castle from July. I did Elena's Royal Welcome July through September. And then I was in rehearsals for Mickey's Magical Christmas Party. I was a soloist, opening soloist in that from October to January. So I was there for like 6 months doing and that was another new thing that I ended up helping out with, which was really fun.
Oh, that's
but yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe for I know for me, I've never been in that world, but maybe for I guess viewers, could you describe what it's like the typical project, like as far as the rehearsals and then maybe the day-to-day routine and everything?
Yeah. So, with like an equities, actors union, we adhere to all their rules with like equity contracts and stuff like that. So with an equity day, so you work 6 days a week.
Hmm.
Your only day off is Monday. That's Equity Monday. That's where any show, Broadway, off Broadway, tours, your days off Monday. You don't do
Okay.
anything Monday, but all the other 6 days you're gonna do something. um, and it is even with new works too. Usually have like a 10 to 6 day. You learn the show maybe in 2.5 weeks.
Oh wow.
Um, get the band in. The band, has a little less. They have maybe 4 to 7 days to learn their stuff. We'll rehearse with the band.
Hmm.
Um, they'll rehearse with their music director, and then we'll get the singers in for maybe a couple hours before we go into tech. Um, and then tech will last. I mean, if you're lucky, 5 days.
Hmm.
Um, and then you're on to your first performances. So the whole process usually takes only about 4 weeks from like beginning to opening. Um, Sometimes a lot less. Most of the time, a lot less. I think this next gig I'm doing, I think we only have 2 weeks of rehearsal. That's including tech and musicians and all that stuff. So
Wow. How long are the days of rehearsals?
8 hours, 8 or 9 hours, 10 to
Whew.
6. I can't do math.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Um, and that's like not with, you're expected to memorize and learn it by yourself. I mean,
Oh
I
wow.
think that yeah, definitely when you get to a certain level, um, you should already know how to read music. You can't sight read. Learn!
Yeah.
But,
Uh-huh. Oh man.
um, no, yeah, so it goes quick. It goes really quick. And, there's always new skills that, um, also as an artist, you should be like, as an artist in general, you should be open to learning new things and stuff like that. And sometimes you're expected to just do it.
Hmm.
Um, which you should embrace.
Most definitely, yeah.
Um, yeah, I remember one production I had to learn how to play the trumpet. I don't play the trumpet.
Wow.
Don't do it. Yeah, and that was within the 3 weeks of learning
Oh, geez.
learning all the other stuff. There was another production I had. I had to learn how to poise swing. It's a Hawaiian, like they usually do it with fire. I had to do it with like balls that look like birds.
Oh.
Didn't know how to do that, but Um, but yeah, definitely like 3 weeks to learn a new skill and then hone the show in general.
My gosh, yeah. So I guess it would behoove anyone who's trying to get into this thing to make sure they really know how to sing well, because then I guess you have to learn the choreography too, right?
Choreography. Um, yeah, I mean, definitely, there's definitely amount of obviously not only talent but skill that needs to constantly be exercised and constantly needs to be put into practice because it's it's quick. It goes by quick, and like if you're not, if gotta learn how to read your music, gotta learn how to sight read. Sometimes gotta learn. It's
Uh-huh.
the name of the game. That's why
Yeah.
they pay you the big bucks.
I hear. Yeah, the learning curve is quick, right?
Yeah, it's quick.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah. 'Cause I can imagine that it's like to get the show and then like probably have to do a fair amount of exercising to keep in shape for all that stuff too, right?
That too, but that you're expected to do that on your own. That's what they'll say. No one
Oh
wants to see you break yourself, so
yeah,
you
yeah.
have to.
They just want the end result, right?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. What's I guess one of your favorite roles that you've done thus far with Disney or anything else?
I think my favorite role um would have to be Cinderella and Into the Woods.
Oh, okay.
Um, that was probably one of the hardest scores I've ever learned, ever.
Hmm.
It was Sondheim. Um, and oh, God bless him, but no one should do Sondheim. And I think we had 2.5 weeks of rehearsal with Tech.
Oh yeah.
And
Wow.
I had never heard the music, and it's hard.
It's
It's
hard.
very hard.
Oh no.
It's
Oh,
hard. Um, but yeah, learning it and like being able to master it and say like, yeah, I could do it now without, you know, I could do it now, even now without music and ever and anything. Like, it's a really good feeling to have, and it was fun just to. I think, now with everything's changing, Broadway's changing, and the face of these characters are changing in everyone's eyes. Like, it was just fun to be a brown Cinderella. I don't know.
yes.
It was,
Yes.
yeah, and like I that production, they really um were really casting was very careful to kind of change the way people look at fairy tale characters, and
Okay.
it was fun to really just kind of change the way the musical was looked at
Nice.
in
Yeah.
a
So
way.
it's kind
Yeah.
of it's. I remember I was talking with a buddy of mine who does a lot of Broadway work. So it seems like they're becoming more and more aware of maybe uh was it, I guess the term might be racial equity or diversity within.
Yeah, yeah, and even doing it with um a musical that's so classical, and a musical that is so um looked at as one of the classics, and looked at as one of the greatest musicals of all time, to just do it
Hmm.
with just a different way. It was just a breath of fresh air, and it was just fun to bring back a classic, and a classic that everyone loves, but just look at it a different way, which was really nice to see.
Most definitely. I mean, and then I guess another question I would have is like, is it? I imagine is it more challenging to be the first one to do like the opening of this like these new works, or is it like, or is it maybe challenging to work on something that's pre-existing? You know what I mean? Like, 'cause I guess maybe
Yeah,
you have you can see what other people have done before you. So does it maybe makes it easier, or maybe it adds more pressure? I don't know.
yeah, it definitely. I find it easier to create it yourself,
Okay,
just because there's no preconceived notion of how it should be done.
I see. Okay.
Um, and there's no preconceived notion from even directors or choreographers or whatever.
Hmm.
And there's no preconceived notion by the audience either. It's
Oh,
just
good. Yeah.
you doing it. Yeah. And like, you always, and even as a performer, you want to pay homage. You want to respect the work. You want to, respect the way it was done.
Hmm.
But then you have to teeter that line, which is sometimes it's hard to teeter when like you want to create something new.
Hmm.
Um, but it was so. I remember. Oh, what was I singing? I'll never forget this. Was it The Sound of Music? I think I was singing a song from The Sound of Music in a master class one day.
Oh, okay.
Oh, well, I have confidence in sunshine, I have confidence in rain. I forgot the name of the song. I'm a
All right.
really bad musical theater person.
I like the flash of
I
skills
was,
for a
but you
second.
know which song I'm talking about, and I think I remember I riffed a line,
Hmm.
and I had a teacher was like, "You do not riff one of
Oh,
Julie Andrews' songs," and I'm like, "Well, why?" And like, I never like understood why that was something that like just wasn't done.
uh-huh.
But like, I feel like now people are, you can sing a classical song and do a little riff, and no one's gonna die. Even if it's
Right, right.
Julie Andrews. I love Julie Andrews, but a little
Yeah,
Amanda riff isn't gonna hurt anybody.
exactly, exactly. You know, and I think I personally think it needs to in order to keep it kind of fresh for audiences. Like,
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I think it's definitely harder to teeter lines instead
mhm.
of just creating something. And if it doesn't work, I mean, the director will tell you, and you're able to adjust and try it a different way. And I think it's a lot easier to do it that way. But
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I mean, because I mean, it'd be like I don't know, someone going stepping into that role of maybe Les Miserables or like a Phantom of the Opera.
yeah,
Yeah.
or sometimes it's like I listen to original recordings just to learn it, and I end up with like subconsciously, I don't even realize I'm doing it until I sing it in front of my voice teacher, and he was like, Amanda, why are you copying their sound? Or Amanda, why are you like saying can't instead of can't? Like, you don't sing that way. What are you doing? And I'm like, oh my God, it's because I have the recording of somebody else doing it in my head. And,
Mm,
as artists, we always want to be authentic. As artists, we always want to be our truest selves and express our truest selves in a character. And
hmm.
I end up imitating someone that obviously isn't me. And I get called out on it. So,
Oh, gotcha. No, I hear you.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that must be a hard. It's hard, you know, to especially when there's like it's like kind of this role that's defined to kind of put your
Hmm.
stamp on it. So I think that would definitely be a challenge for sure.
Yeah. No,
It's,
yeah. It's
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, that's what I was gonna say. It's all about finding who you are in someone else's work. It is harder to do. Um, but you find a way to do it. I think that's the fun part of creating something too, and creating a character is just finding where you lie in it.
Most definitely, most definitely.
Yeah.
Oh man, so the Disney thing's been going really well. Now were you doing Disney up until COVID hit, and then everything just stopped, or what were you doing prior to COVID?
Prior to COVID, I had just done. I actually had just done a show in Philly.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I was doing a production of Chess in Philly,
Hmm.
and I was actually looking to go back to Disney, just to go back on a cruise, um, but I think now, I mean, now that stuff is picking back up, I don't know. I don't know if I'll go back to Disney. I'd love to do a Christmas show there or something, come back.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think that's always a door that I will be able to go through if I wanted to go back. But I think now, it's there's definitely different characters in Disney that I would be able to play now that I'm a little older.
Hmm.
Um, and different characters that, I think you grow out of as a performer and as a human being. But yeah, I loved my experience there, and I loved what they did to jumpstart my career. And I would have no problem going back. But I mean, if I don't, it's not the end of the world either.
Gotcha, gotcha.
Yeah.
Uh, so, what were you doing during the pandemic? Like, where everything when everything was shut down in the beginning last year? Like, what were you doing?
Ah, calling unemployment for my money.
I yeah,
Um,
I think it was most artists everywhere. Yeah, or
yeah, I
maybe
think that's what
people in general.
everyone was doing. It was so hard too because um, the year before with my taxes and everything, I was in 15 different states
Oh wow.
um in one year. So they were like, I remember when they finally called me, like after 2 months of not receiving anything, I went back home to my mom because I was like, I can't live.
Oh wow.
But they had called me, and they were like, but are you a resident of New Jersey? Like, you're not there. Like, we have taxes from Michigan, from St. Louis, like where, and I was like, yeah, I'm a performer. I travel for a living. Like,
Hmm.
we travel for work. This is what we do. And they were like, yeah, but you were 2 months here too. I was like, yes, that's how much like a musical run is. Like, It's
Right.
normal.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, it was definitely those. The first 2 months were very, very hard. You know, I as for everybody, I think it was a time of uncertainty and a time that you really reflect on. I'm like, should I go back to school? Should I, I don't know. But I ended up doing a lot of new works and a lot of readings for new works. I think it inspired a lot of composers and a lot of writers to, write new musicals that kind of um, told the story from other people's perspective. So
Hmm.
I ended up doing a lot of readings for Latino composers and
Nice.
um, yeah, which was really really fun to do, and Latino playwrights that were writing new plays and stuff like that
Hmm.
for Latino artists. So it was, I found fulfillment in little Zoom readings here and there.
Uh-huh.
Um, yeah, but I also like it was so funny. I also had a professor that said, when you're first starting out, never say no to a project, and I think that rings so true even now,
Hmm.
um, because I was able to continue my work and continue, stretching those muscles of, sight reading, stretching those muscles of, acting muscles and stuff like that,
Hmm.
throughout the pandemic. That because I never said no to a project, and even though it was free, even though
Hmm.
it didn't pay my bills, but it fulfilled me in an artistic way, and thank God I got those opportunities because I mean I know a lot of people left. And left the business and left musical theater and left acting because of the pandemic. And I just thank God that I was able to stretch those muscles enough to where like now that stuff is opening up, I'm booked and blessed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, nice, nice. No, I'm glad that you're able to hold on. I know a lot of people, same with the music thing, they just had to call
yeah.
it a day. They just, yeah. And it's not for everyone to try to fight the good fight. But now,
It's
now that
hard,
things,
and living in New York is hard. I think
it is.
people, they have this dream of like, I'm gonna go to New York City. Living in New York City is hard.
Yes,
I'm a very
exactly.
good bartender
Yeah.
when I'm not like when I'm not in a dress and singing. Like
Oh, man.
living here is not easy, and I think it's not for the faint of heart. And being an artist is not for the faint of heart either.
It's not,
Uh,
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Or being married to one for that matter. Like,
no, it's hard.
yeah, yeah. I'm sure my wife be like, "What are you doing?" Right?
I think my neighbors think I'm a little off. There's definitely been some times like, and now with everything being virtual,
Hmm.
um, I have to. I also learned I'm a newfound sound engineer.
Okay.
Learned how to do that during the pandemic,
Uh-huh.
but I would have to record these things at like 1, 2 in the morning when it was silent, when there wasn't instruction going on, when there weren't birds chirping outside.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, definitely my neighbors think probably they're like, "What is she doing?"
Oh man, yeah, that is.
Look, I can only imagine your wife being like, "What is happening?"
yeah, especially when I start warming up. The best is like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's like what he's a professional, right? What is that sound coming out?
Oh my god, yeah. Sometimes, like, I wish new singers could see. I just had a voice lesson. I still take voice lessons, and I still like there'll be a crack, and like I feel like if people heard a recording of me and my voice lesson, they'd be like, "People pay her to sing,
Right, right,
really?"
exactly.
Like,
Yeah,
but
it's the grind behind the scenes people don't appreciate.
yeah, yeah, of like you got to stretch the muscle. Sometimes the muscle
Yeah, exactly.
needs to
It's
be
not
warmed
always
up a
pretty.
bit.
Yeah,
No.
Yeah, yeah, I find it funny. The key word is practice. Yet people want you to perform all the time. Like, no, I need my time to fall and hit my head against the wall a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I need a good 15 minutes of that, and then I can perform.
Yeah, it's I guess the people who don't do it don't really get that part, but it's okay.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's not. It's it's a muscle. They're all muscles that need to be worked at constantly. And sometimes, like, I remember I was doing an audition, a video audition,
Uh-huh.
and like again, I've been singing "Edge of Glory," Lady Gaga, since I was 20 years old.
Mhm.
A couple months of not singing it will definitely. There was definitely a good hour and a half where like I would replay and I'm like, why am I so flat? And it's like, Amanda, you didn't sing for 2 months. Like there are
Mm,
definitely muscles that they need constant work. And I think if anyone is listening, if any, aspiring artist is listening to this interview, it's just remember they're all muscles that need to be worked constantly. And even if you're a professional, it doesn't matter.
exactly.
They need to be worked constantly.
You try to go on stage without doing anything, you will pull that muscle real quick.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
so now that things have opened up or starting to open up, do you have any upcoming stuff that you can share with us and tell us about?
Yeah, yeah. So I am in, I don't know if it's like announced yet, but I will be doing a new musical in Saugatuck, Michigan with Mason Street Theater. It's called Shout, the Mod Musical,
Nice.
um, which is a review show of 70s girl band, girl songs. So it'd be fun. It's going to be fun. Um, and then I am doing a production of American Mariachi with Theater Squared in Fayetteville, Arkansas. And I love this show. This is actually another role that I originated out in Denver with the Denver Center and the Old Globe Theater.
Okay.
So that was a new work that I ended up creating. The role as Isabel. Ended up creating the role for. That was the one that I had to learn the trumpet.
Oh, I see. I see.
Um, and it was so funny because this round of auditions, the director was like, "Oh, do you own a trumpet?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I own one."
You just got to say yes sometimes. Yeah.
It was my brother's from high school that he never learned, and my mom just kept it. So I ended up having a trumpet.
Uh-huh.
Um, and they were like, "Yeah, can you just play the beginning of La Madrugada and just sing La Madrugada? No problem. Just have us a video for it." We never had to play that in the original production, so I had to learn it in 2 hours. Again,
Uh-huh.
I do not play the trumpet.
Oh, wow.
Um, again, those muscles were definitely stretched, probably broke. Um, but we did get one good video out of it.
Okay.
That I ended up booking again. So again, do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah.
I think is the theme of this interview.
So how did you learn the trumpet that quickly then? Like, was it YouTube or?
It was definitely a mix of YouTube. I googled like a fingering chart.
Mhm.
Um, again, it was ear and sight reading. Like I knew I was just like, well, that's a G. Like, can we figure out what a G is on this trumpet on this thing?
Yeah.
Um, so it's definitely sight reading and ear, and the little theory I know that
Mhm.
helped a little, but not that
Oh,
much. It was a lot more for you. And calling Julie Acosta and calling my uncle that was in the army band. He never answered. I called him literally. I think that day I called him like 27 times. Never answered. But yeah, and a little freak out moments here and there.
Oh, okay.
within the 2 hours, but we got one good take, and that's all that. That's all
Oh,
that
that's
matters.
cool. And then maybe in the spirit of mariachi, did you have like a shot of tequila afterwards after the job was done?
Oh, did I? I was like, did I? I think it was after. No, so I did it in the morning. I did it at 8 a.m. in the morning. Again, these like crazy hours. I did it at 8 a.m. in the morning
Mhm.
at my mom's house in Connecticut, and then I had to drive to work to open the bar at 2. So I
Oh,
drove. Yeah, so then I drove to Connecticut. But then after, at like 1 in the morning when we were all done, I probably did. I had a shot of tequila or a glass of wine.
I don't blame you. I would too. Like
Yeah,
that's
it
not an
was a
easy
stressful day. Yeah,
Oh goodness.
stressful day.
Oh, okay. Well, I
Yeah,
mean, I'm glad things are starting to pick up. So you'll be out in Michigan and
yeah,
in Arkansas. Okay.
yeah.
All right. And then past that, is there anywhere else people can look for you, like in the town near you, whatever? The cliche.
I know that American Mariachi will be live streamed. Some performances will be live streamed.
Okay.
I don't know. Don't ask me when. Sometime in August.
Uh-huh.
And I also did a thing for Philadelphia Theater Company. They are doing a new musical called The Tattooed Lady, and I did a little teaser of that. So whenever that comes out, it'll be available. But yeah,
Oh, awesome. Oh, cool.
yeah.
No, thank you for being with us again. Again, this is Amanda Robles. The talent of all talents. She sings, dances, and everything, and bartender too. So it's
Plays
like,
the trumpet, just adding to the list.
oh, nice. I like it. So the resume is going to keep growing. So we'll
Yeah,
have
it
to
keeps
have you.
growing.
Yeah, we'll have you back in, and we'll have to check in and see what other talents have been added to
Right.
it.
I figured out. Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you. So again, this is for Occhi Magazine, and we'll see you next time.